This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Express Monorail.
Caramba, we have something really big for you today.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's pod. This show for the week of August 5th, 2024. This is the D23 Eve show, I guess. It's not literally the day before, but it's the last show before, I guess.
It's D23 fan event week, at least.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hopefully, the fan community as a whole can survive the quarterly earnings report that's coming out on Wednesday, I believe,
morning,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun and cause lots of panic as the stock market takes a hit today. That being said, before we go on, because Phil, you are going to Disney World on Friday and
Saturday, technically, but yeah.
Well, you're traveling on Friday, are you not?
No, we fly down Saturday.
Man, I am completely messed up in my head. Anyway, before we record, you're going to be there during D23, so you're not going to be here next week. And I believe our friend Matt has agreed to fill in your shoes. We were going to get Drew the Disney Dude to come on our show, but he's actually get a chance to fly out to D23 as media. So he's going to have a lot of fun out there. And he's going to come on, I think, either the week after or the week after that. I don't know exactly when he gets back. So we have to figure that out. So it was easy. We replaced Phil easily for at least 1 week. Sorry, Phil.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get a major update today with your lightning lane and how successful you were. We're talking about how you felt about that. We got our own D23 predictions, and we kind of classified them as most confident, kind of maybe confident, and long shots. So we're going to kind of list a couple. I think there's a lot that we could probably throw in there, but I think it gets goofy after a few of these things. And then also we're going to continue, assuming we don't talk for 2 hours about D23, about our ranking quick service locations. And this week is going to be Animal Kingdom, because the DBC engagement question was to actually rank them before we actually did this on the air to see how everything kind of matches up. That being said, before we start, reminder of our social media at the DBC Pod on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you want to find your social media. And then, of course, the Discord channel, whose link is in every single description. So please drop in and join the conversation. And then we want to welcome some new YouTube subscribers: Vocal Jazz Fan, Thomas Carson, Avatar Nut 4, and Charlie Fulmer. So thank you for joining and enjoying the community. We appreciate your support. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you do the whole like and subscribe stuff. That's the only time I will beg you to do that this episode. All right, so Phil, big topic that's been ongoing for weeks. I thought maybe Len Tessa might talk about it more today, but he had like 2 minutes of mention of it last week, and he's just not talking about it anymore, which is funny to me. But what we talked about, what you were going to try to do last week. So how was your Lightning Lane journey for your upcoming trip?
Yep. So I was able to book my Lightning Lane multi-pass and single passes this past Saturday, which was August 3rd, because that was 7 days before my check-in to a Disney resort. And the only days I was planning on getting it for is our Magic Kingdom Day and our Hollywood Studios Day, which are a week away, Wednesday and Thursday. So it's going to be day 5 and 6 of my trip. So they were like days 12 and 13 out from my booking window.
Okay.
So I felt going in like, I mean, that's how I had it anyway. So I kind of worked out, I think, having the parks I wanted to book at towards the end of the trip.
Sure.
So obviously a little anxious the first time going into a new process. And I don't know, I feel like whenever it was FastPass Plus and stuff, I was doing it more on the website. This is all on app based. So it just felt a little like different doing everything on my phone versus like a website.
I always hate doing things on my phone. Like, my wife does everything on her phone. So if I'm ordering like food from a place, I'll go over to my computer and go to the website to order food. I hate mobile menus and stuff like that. So having to do this, especially when I've done this with Genie Plus, I was always anxious that I was going to over scroll button or something. So I get your anxiety.
Yeah. But it was a pretty smooth process. So I got up, and 6:55 or whatever, was ready to go at 7, and went right through my Magic Kingdom Day, selecting. And I will say every day I looked at least all of the single pass rides were available. And for the parks I looked at for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studio, everything was available to me. So I quickly hit Tiana's for my tier 1, and then Pirates and Haunted Mansion for my tier 2. And it rolled through, and it kind of, I guess, defaults to certain times. You can, if you want to try to modify it. I figured let me just get through it as quick as possible, because they basically say they hold them for 5 minutes, and they stack them like where one ends, the next one begins, or whatever. They don't automatically give an overlap, even though we know in practice, day of and stuff, you can schedule them to have an overlap.
Okay, so it looks like you're here. You got good time. So yeah, you had Pirate at 9:35, Tiana's at 10:35, which is obviously the main thing everybody wants to try to get, and then you got Mansion at 11:35. So it's boom, boom, boom. Would you have taken something from like 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12 if you could, or did this fit your schedule better?
So I mean, this was early enough. I definitely wanted at least one as early as possible. So I think day of, depending on how we're doing and how early we get there, I might try to modify one of them and see if something earlier is available. But I don't think this is bad, especially if
I think it's pretty good.
Even if we get there, right at 9 or something like that, maybe we go ride Jungle Cruise, quote unquote rope drop that, and then go over to Pirates and up from that sort of thing.
So you said that you couldn't modify these for earlier times, or you couldn't modify for an overlap.
Right. I actually tried to see if I could move my Haunted Mansion earlier, and there actually it did pop up at one point a 9:20. So I was like, oh, let me take that. And then it wouldn't let me book that because it was too much of an overlap with my Pirates one.
Okay, so it seems that day of, the overlap rules are generally for pre-booking, not day of booking.
Right, day of, it seems it's wide open and you can overlap as much or as little as you want. Pre-booking, there's at least some people said they were able to get it with like maybe 15-minute overlap or something. I didn't try, but I was afraid to like even cancel the Pirates just to move this. I was like, you know what? It's good enough.
So,
let's leave it there.
Do we know what time you can start modifying for the overlap? Is it park open? Is it 7 a.m.?
It should be 7 a.m. day of.
Day of. So like, are you at 7 a.m. going to do a couple refreshes and see if you can
I'm going to see how we're doing getting up. If we're like up and everyone's like raring to go, then I will. But if we're kind of going slow, the kids aren't getting up, and like we're not going to get there until 9:30 anyway, then I'm not going to bother.
So what is your plan? If you're thinking, like, I know your kids, I was kind of joking in our group chat earlier that like you're going to be like optimize. And your kids are like super chill when it comes to at least Magic Kingdom and Disney World overall. Are you planning? Do you have a specific strategy in mind? Are you going to play it easy? How are you going to do? So let's say you hit Pirates at 9:35. What are you aiming to do then? Yeah,
so as soon as we scan in for the first one, I'll try to see what I can get from another tier 1. Probably try for Big Thunder Mountain or Space Mountain. What I did was I had printed out like a grid or a chart or a spreadsheet, because I have to have a spreadsheet for everything of the rides, the tier 1 and tier 2 rides for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. And I had each of my kids like pick a few from each one, like kind of rank which rides were most important to them. So I'm going to have that. And so like when we're able to book something else, I'll make sure it's one of the ones that the kids want. So I'm hoping I'm not going to go crazy trying to get like 12 lightning lanes or whatever like that. But if we can get, 5, 6, 7 of the ones that people want, I'll be more than happy with that.
So, I mean, but regardless of the targets, right? Do you have a strategy in mind? Like, let's say, okay, 9:35 Pirates hits. Are you going to attempt to, if let's say you're there, you're ready to go, are you going to attempt to squish them, quote unquote, squish them closer together? And then are you going to attempt to book, like once Pirates is done, are you trying to book for later in the day, or are you trying to book?
I'll see what's available.
First available type of thing?
I'll probably see what's available, because we are planning, because we have the deluxe evening hours that night, extended evening hours. We are planning on having some sort of midday break. Now, I'll play it by ear as to the exact times of that, and depending on how things are going with, if Tiana's is breaking down or whatever. And obviously we're still going to try for a virtual queue and what return times are for that. But yeah, so if I'm able to get the next one kind of before noon, 1 o'clock, something like that, I'll probably do that. If nothing's available that early, then I'll probably push it to later for after our break.
Piece of advice, because I fell for this trap, because as you're kind of manipulating the times, I remember one of my Magic Kingdom days, and I think this was in 22, where I wanted to take a midday break, but I was following Genie Plus's times over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
We were going. That it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm like, what's the point of a midday break now? Because midday is basically gone. So I think if you are truly serious about midday breaks, you hit Haunted Mansion or you squish it earlier and you force yourself to leave
Yeah,
the park.
I mean
by
that's
a certain
definitely
time, right?
yeah, that's definitely the plan. Whether we grab lunch there and head out right after lunch, or even head out beforehand, we'll see how we're doing. But yeah, that's definitely the plan.
Yeah, you
but
obviously
obviously,
force. I mean,
yeah, we'll be a little tied to however the virtual queues are going and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be the plan. And that's a good point. Like, oh, there's not 12, but there is one. Oh, maybe we'll stick around and
you
hit
start
one.
creeping
It's like,
up on it. Yeah, that's what
so I do have
happened
to say,
me.
it's like, yeah, if it's not before say noon or 12:30 or something like that, then say, yeah, let's just push it off to 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah, I would, especially in August.
Yeah.
That if you leave by noon and come back at like 4 or 5 or whatever,
that's the
best
plan.
time.
Yeah.
I think you got to set yourself an alarm like, Phil, leave the park right now. Drop everything what you're doing and run, right? Or you get grass. Okay, so Hollywood Studios was your other day. So what did you get?
Yeah, so and just so you know how the flow goes, you do kind of pay. I didn't know if it was going to be do everything and then pay at the end. It kind of had you do one day, complete that purchase, and then you can do another day. And so the second day for me was the next day, which was Hollywood Studios. That was our tier 1 was Slinky Dog.
Well, hold on before you get into this. So, what is your anxiety level as you're going through the Magic Kingdom selections? Like, I gotta pay, I gotta go through because you want to get to Hollywood Studios as soon as possible. Because I mean, you did well for. I see this. You're gonna say this because you just mentioned Slinky Dog. What was your anxiety level going through the checkout process? Was it nice and smooth? You were able to do it quick.
Yeah, everything was smooth and went quick. I was going to mention this at the end, but because we got up, my wife Judy, she was like, "Do you want me to help? Do you want me to like do it?" And I was like, "I think we should be fine, and it's the first time going through it." And blah blah blah. And afterwards, she was like, "You were remarkably calm throughout the whole thing." So
I just remember our trip from 22 where we were in our we slept at like an offsite hotel for the day that we arrived, and got refreshed because Scott drove for 18 hours, got out, and it's like the day of, and that was we had a Magic Kingdom day on our quote unquote arrival day, and we were just going to park and go to the park at the resort and just hop straight onto the bus, right? Not even check in. And I just remember muttering curses under my breath in the front seat of the car, about to drive over, where like, I'm trying to get Jungle Cruise, I'm going to this, and the internet's messing up and everything else, and I just can't imagine like being calm and just going through the whole process.
Yeah, it went through smoothly, and like I said, I didn't bother modifying. Once I saw the times, I was like, okay, that seems fine. Got what I wanted. Check out. And then it's like, oh, do you want to book another day? So you said book another day, brings you back to the calendar.
Oh, okay. So it easily pushed you right back into the whole process.
Exactly.
So you can loop it. That's nice.
Yeah. So then I picked Hollywood Studios, and I picked Slinky Dog as my tier 1, and then Tower of Terror and Toy Story Mania as my tier 2. And just, as I mentioned, my kids picked their priorities. I was also weighing in which ones are like harder to get, kind of like which based on availability and stuff, kind of just the suggestions from touring plans, Disney touring blog and stuff like that. And so that's one of the reasons I did like Tower of Terror, because my son doesn't really like that, but my daughter wants to ride it and I want to ride it. I know that's a harder one to get.
Sure.
So that's why we booked that one, even though afterwards he's like, wait, why did you book that one? I didn't want to. I was like, well, that's a hard one to get. So we'll do that. If you don't want to ride, you don't have to ride. And then we'll move on to something else.
Was instead of Toy Story Mania, since that was one of your kids' requests, could you have gotten Falcon? Was that available?
Yeah, that was available. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it seems like I'm assuming, because I remember you saying that you might want to do like another midday break, not midday. Well, go back to Caribbean Beach, go to the Banana Cabana. As soon as you hit Slinky Dog Dash, is that again like Magic Kingdom? You're going to exit and try to start stacking a bunch of other ones for later in the day.
We'll see how we're doing. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to want to do that for lunch or more of like a mid afternoon break. So we might be a little bit later, more like 2-3 o'clock type thing. That's when we take that break. So we're lined up with Tower of Terror as our first one at 9:30. Toy Story Mania at 10:35, and then Slinky Dog Dash at 11:35. So it's nice those are back to back.
And at least you've got, once you got out of Tower of Terror, you maybe check out like Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, and see if it's available. And then your last two are all right next to each other, so that's kind of perfect. And maybe hit up Star Wars and do whatever, and then do your break. So that's a really good day. Now, the one thing I've been like on the WDW Magic forums is like there's one person that's kind of playing the game, as in like seeing what's available that time, and refreshing to see availability. It seems, at least with the low crowds that are out there right now, like you can successfully refresh into pretty decent rides if you have the patience to do that.
Yeah. It seems like, and I know the person, I should have looked up his username because he's doing a really good job. But I think he's saying every time I'm doing it, I'm going to hit refresh 5 times. And these are the best times that came up, because 5 times is kind of a reasonable number for most people to do. You know, you could do it 50 times, but most people aren't.
I've done that.
Yeah. But you're not most people.
No, I'm not. But that seems pretty good. Like I think you have 2 days that are perfect. Hollywood Studios, because there's so few rides in that park, they do get overloaded. And if you can essentially guarantee quick lines on some of those things, especially after your Tower of Terror and maybe Toy Story Mania is done, they can kind of see how your rest of your day is. You could come back later that day and just kind of like do some shopping, stroll along the boulevard, maybe hop in Tower of Terror for a second time or whatever.
Well, and I know last time we went, we didn't really hit up many of the shows, and I don't even know if my kids have like seen Indiana Jones and stuff. So I'm thinking maybe we'll try to do more of those this trip too.
Yeah, I think Hollywood Studios is one of the worst parks to be in without a plan.
Yeah.
Because especially with GD Plus that could ping pong you back and forth, it is the worst park to navigate in.
Yeah.
Because there's so many dead ends. That if you can nail out some of the must do's, and if maybe you don't have a stomach to do them a second time because you're like one and done, I'm pretty good with that, then it's a great park to kind of just relax in too. Go see the shows, not feel pressure to go on to the next thing. And if you don't have that hanging over your head, that could be a very enjoyable park, especially if you want to do like what's the neon? Well, you probably won't see the neon because it's light until like 10 o'clock at night true. When you're there. Anything else you want to add about your Lightning Lane?
No, just say this process was smooth. I did go and check after I kind of got everything set.
Yep.
I went in because I know some people on WDW Magic asked me to check like sooner in my trip. So I checked for day 2. So not like day of, but if you were saying arriving and then going to go to Magic Kingdom, like your first park day.
Yep.
And when I tried that, which was already, a half hour or so after 7, initially everything was available. I tried for Tiana's and I tried to go to the next scene and then it said it was no longer available. So not surprising, Tiana's is the one that seems to be going the quickest, but even that was, your first, day 2 of your trip. If you were on right at 7, I think you would have gotten Tiana's no problem. And everything else was available. So I don't know if it's just because there's low crowds now or they've been tweaking the availability, because it seems like there's a little bit better availability since compared to like the first day things were running. But yeah, like I said, overall it went really smoothly. So as long as you put things that are harder to get maybe later in your trip, but the system, we get on Disney IT a lot, but it seems like with this rollout from an IT standpoint, it seems like they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing that like there's no IT complaints at all with this whole system, but it's just there was initial complaints about inventory, about people like, oh my god, they saw the first day reaction, and then that is what's stuck in people's head. But like other people are like, no, I was able to get this, whatever. It seems to be holding up pretty well. We'll see what happens in like October, November, December when it's like super busy and how the system works.
And I guess I should also mention, I decided not to buy any of the single pass ones just for money. I can't spend it on everything, and kind of figuring that with the way the crowd should be, it should be between that and having the evening hours at Magic Kingdom and Epcot, we should be able to get by without needing to buy them. So.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be spending $60 per ride or something else like that.
Exactly.
At this point, I think you're good to go.
And even for like Guardians, if we want to ride it twice with the extra hours, we could do the 2 virtual queues and stuff like that. It just didn't seem worth it to do things like pay for the single rides as well.
No, I'm with you on that. Okay, so on to D23 predictions. Now we had Scott on. This is not much of a repeat from Scott's conversation where we went park to park. So we didn't want to steal Matt's idea where it's like, you guess the likelihood or anything else like that. So it's not a game like that. But I think we have like 3 categories, Phil, that we're happy with, that we're going to or 3 buckets we can drop ideas into. So we're going to have 1 bucket. The first one we're going to talk about things that we're confident will be announced, that will be showcased in some way at the show. Then we have ones that are like slightly less confident. It's like maybe a 50-50 chance that it might be announced if you want to put a number on it. And then we have some of them that are long shots. These are like collections of rumors or things that like if it happens, like we won the lottery. That would be like an amazing announcement, but we don't expect to really.
Although I think I kind of expect at least like one of them to be announced. We don't know which one, but I'm sure there'll be something sort of unexpected.
Yes,
that gets announced.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay, let's start with the things that we feel confident about in D23.
Yep.
There's 4 here. I threw these on here, but I think you agree with all of them and you didn't want to
Yeah,
add any to
I
this
went in.
list.
I tweaked a couple things. I specifically mentioned. So the first one that you put in there was the tropical Americas and Animal Kingdom. I added that. I think there'll be an overview of that.
Yes.
We'll get kind of like a detailed, kind of better concept art, sort of showing the layout, showing which IP is going to be included, and kind of the general layout and the overview of where the rides are. But I think what we're less confident in is the amount of detail beyond that.
Right. So we definitely think like we saw like the kind of paper mache flyover in some of the Disney Plus showcases. And then we have just whatever was displayed previously, which is just concept art and like a thing.
Yeah.
So we never got any details of the land, right? Like
Yeah.
what's going on here, animals and maybe the artwork and the inspiration and all the kind of the Imagineering story behind it. I expect that we'll get a lot of that in a kind of 30,000 foot view of everything, right? They'll talk Encanto, they'll talk Indy, they'll talk the carousel or spinner or whatever.
Yep.
But that is the level that I think that we're most definitely going to be able to get.
Do you
Like,
think
I
there'll
don't
be? I was going to. Do you think there'll be a model out on the floor that people can look at, like they've done in the past for Avatar, for Galaxy's Edge, and Toy Story Land
100%.
and stuff? Okay.
I think we'll definitely get what we saw. What was that? What was the name of that show? It was like not Imagineering. It was We Are Imagineers, or
Well, there was the Imagineering story, and then
it
there
was
was
the one
and
they
then there was
were showing for
behind the
Tiana's.
attractions. That was.
What was the last one that we saw?
Oh
It
yeah,
was
the
It
Imagineering.
was on YouTube.
Yeah,
it was on YouTube first. Right? Anyway, they had a model there. I think they're going to showcase that model. I think they're
Okay.
at that level of ready to go with something like that.
Okay.
The next one has been confirmed that's going to happen by Steve at WDW Magic. Len Testa let it slip or just mentioned it, whatever. A night parade at the Magic Kingdom. Now, some people might say this won't get announced at D23. It'll just get announced at a later date because we're getting it. But I think they're going to use this as an announcement at D23. So I don't know what level of detail that we're going to get, but I think we'll get Magic Kingdom's going to get a new nighttime parade. Here's some fancy concept art and whatever. I don't think we'll get exactly what's in it. It's going to be somewhere between an official announcement of what's in it and Blue Sky. So somewhere in that middle of that metric.
Yeah, I think we'll get a fair amount of detail for it. And I think because that's something that can come next year, that's probably one of the few things they can actually give somewhat of a concrete date. Like this will be here for summer 2025 or something like that.
Yeah, I think we'll get a season.
Yeah.
One. I think we'll get concept art for it. And I think we'll get theming. But I don't think we're going to get a lot of details because I think marketing is going to want to go and explode with all the marketing details and the videos and all this other stuff. So I think we'll get like a you know how movies put out teaser trailers before you actually get the trailer? I think that's kind of the feeling that we'll get about the parade. In my opinion.
Do you think we'll get a song from it? Because I know they always like to have like live performances and things like that. Do you think that could be if there's an original song in it?
I don't think we'll get a full song. We might get like one of those like clip montages where you hear like little snippets of it, but we won't get like, you know, when they did like Luminous previews, we weren't getting a lot of the music. I think we'll get kind of like maybe a taste of it. Maybe that gives you the emotional ties to it. Is it a joyful one? Is it celebrating? Is it
like what's the feel of it? Yeah,
exactly. We'll get like a vibe check on it, I think.
And then last question about the parade. Do you think it's a separate nighttime parade and they'll still have Festival of the Fantasy, or is it one new parade that's going to be like kind of during the day and the night?
That's a good question. I think it could go either way. I think they can, like, Festival Fantasy needs to be retired. It's been there for quite some time.
Yeah.
I don't see, I mean, you could be seeing like 2 different parades being announced. I don't, because I think they're very happy that they're bringing back a nighttime parade.
Yeah.
And I don't think they want to dilute that with like another parade
Right.
for the daytime. So I think what you'll see is probably Festival of the Fantasy Parade still exists, and this is a different parade. Or the parade is both for the daytime and then it stay for later, because then it kind of transforms and it's like a different show, but it's the same floats type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening as well. Equally, right?
Okay.
Equally. Then again, now that I'm thinking about it, because you're now making me think, from a logistics and ops point of view, I don't think they would want to keep 2 sets of floats backstage and be having to maintain them and have 2 sets of performers for it.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be the latter. If I had to put money on it, I'd put on that it's the same parade but 2 different sides of the coins, kind of thing.
I think that's where I'm leaning towards too. I think that lets them kind of customize things and make them properly be maintained, one good parade. Maybe they have one float is unique or something like that, but I think that's what it'll be, is a new parade that gets to run during the day and at night.
Yeah, I don't think they want to spend the money on maintaining 12 floats when they could do 6 or whatever the number.
Exactly. Yep.
Next one, I think I'm confident that we're gonna get some Beyond Big Thunder Mountain teasers, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get I think we'll get some concept art similar to how we got Blue Sky with Moana and Zootopia and Animal Kingdom that turned into Encanto and Indy.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a similar version of that with not labeled Blue Sky, but with concept art that we'll pick over for the next 2 years before we get another announcement for it. But I don't think we'll get any information about phases. I don't think we'll get it's going to be Coco and Villains Land. I think it'll just be kind of we're going to expand Magic Kingdom and this is the direction we're going to take, and then probably not even a 30,000 foot view. I think we'll get a shot from orbit what it's going to be, right? That's my feeling anyway.
I think it could be a little bit more kind of how the Encanto and Zootopia was you could tell that was a little bit more refined and kind of more realistic. So I think it could be that level. And I agree with you. They're not going to say and we're going to have phase 1 and this is going to open then and then phase 2. But I think it could be kind of apparent from the level of detail in the concept art that
Fair.
One of it is way more detailed and clearly could be a phase 1. And then the rest of it's less
vague in the background.
It is more vague and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think we'll get any details. I think we'll get details for the Tropical Americas Animal Kingdom expansion. I don't think we'll get anything beyond ideas and a little bit more concrete than Blue Sky, but not by much.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm sure we'll definitely get is more test track concept art.
Yeah.
Right. I think we'll get a sense of what the ride's going to be. Maybe we don't get actual concept art inside, but we'll get more details on the theme. What are we trying to do? Before we were testing new vehicles, are we going to just be are we going through a story? Is it going to be testing again? Is it going to be, I don't know, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I think we'll just get,
Yeah, I think we could get some pretty high level details. Because I know they just came out, a new work permit came out for it, and it's with the company that does projection domes and did the projection domes for Cosmic Rewind.
Yep.
They're going to be doing some, so they probably are fairly prepared to give away quite a bit of it, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much of the next 2 buckets are getting announced. Yeah. Whether do they need to expand Test Track to a 15-minute or 10-minute presentation, or is it a 2 slides on a deck that they make a mention? So it depends on. I guess at this point they have to know what's going in there because everything has been ordered and
I mean they're doing a lot
of
work on it already. They're redoing the entranceway and stuff. So yeah,
it depends on how much they can steal out of the grasp of marketing to announce now versus their setup for next year type of thing. So we'll see. Do we want to put anything else that we feel confident about? I think everybody always tries to say, oh, they're going to announce all this stuff, and it's just 4 things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm confident these are the 4 things that they're going to talk about. There's going to be lots of entertainment and dancers and fluff, but these would be the 4 things. Because again, they're going to be. This is only Disney World centric stuff that they're mentioning.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. We should have mentioned at the beginning. We're just doing our predictions for Walt Disney World because that's what we focus on. I mean, if we're going to be talking more broadly, I definitely would put in the confident that there's going to be something about Avatar at Disneyland, but we're focusing on Walt Disney World.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could do Avengers e-ticket. You can do Disney Forward. You can do the new stuff going in Paris.
Yeah.
You can do about the expansions going in Shanghai.
Or cruise line or whatever.
Cruise line stuff. You can do, Disney on Ice. I don't know all the other types. Some Broadway show maybe that's in the work. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But this is Disney World focused.
Yep.
Okay, so the next bucket, things that we're less confident that's going to be announced. And typically these are things that are like, these are things that are like, they might put this in there if they need, or it could also be scrapped, because I think a lot of these things that are on here are definitely going to be shown at some point. Because I think these are definites, except for one of them, which is the first one, is the Tree of Life update, right? We got a sense that the Zootopia is going into the Tree of Life. I think there's a good chance we'll get an update on that. And it could be an update that we're not changing it, right? We're keeping it the same. Or it could be update that it's a different IP and it's not Zootopia, or it is Zootopia or something. I think there's a good chance that there's a mention of it at some point. But if they need more time or whatever, this thing can get redlined and it could just get buried also. So I think there's equal chance on either way.
I also just think they might just scrap it.
Yeah.
And just leave it as is. And
in
some ways, not mentioning it at the event is sort of saying,
mentioning it.
Is sort of mentioning it that we're not doing anything to it.
Yeah. Another thing, because again, next year is going to be focused on entertainment, because there's no new rides other than like Test Track coming out next year. So Disney needs to promote something, and entertainment is cheap compared to building a $250 million new attraction. So we're definitely getting the entertainment at Magic Kingdom. But if entertainment's the focus of next year, you can't just have like, yes, we're announcing a new parade, and that's the only entertainment that you're bringing next year. But I'm struggling. I haven't seen any solid rumors about entertainment anywhere else in the 4 parks or other 3 parks. So one of the things is Hollywood Studios entertainment, right? This could mean like where they used to do the March of the Empire 4 or 5 years ago at Hollywood Studios with all the Star Wars characters. I can see some kind of daytime parade. That's not a cavalcade, but like an actual parade. I could see stuff like, I'm lumping everything together. Jedi training might be announced. Anything that's like not an attraction at Hollywood Studios. I'm not talking about shows. I'm like actual like entertainment stuff. Okay. Something might be announced at Hollywood Studios. And I won't say anything specific because it's all guesswork at this point.
Yep. I mean, I think logically that makes sense. And obviously this would be above and beyond the Little Mermaid show that's supposed to be coming back and stuff like that.
Yeah. The Little Mermaid stuff, like anything that's in a show building, I'm not considering as part of this, right? It's like parades, Streetmosphere, Jedi training, all those stuff that's just kind of happening in the parks rather than something that you have to queue for, right?
Gotcha.
So maybe that's a new nighttime show. Oh, you got Fantasmic. So like, they don't need another nighttime show. They used to have 2 going on. So I don't know. I think there's going to be some kind of like filler, like come to Hollywood Studios because stormtroopers are going to be coming down Hollywood Boulevard again, or whatever, that type of thing. The next one is going to be, I don't have any other entertainment stuff except for one thing, which is in the long shot cut. Is there anything else entertainment wise that belongs on here that you can think of?
No, the only thing I could think of is if they're going to talk more about the entertainment space in Epcot where the Encanto show is now, and maybe saying what's coming next or just how that space is going to be used going forward. But I don't think that needs to be at the D23. No. That could just be whenever.
That's why I don't have anything on here, because I think there's a lot of little things that don't necessarily need a D23 slot, right? Yeah. The next one is potentially a DVC announcement. We just saw permits being registered for some area like southeast-ish, east-southeast of Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
Kind of creeping towards where Reflections would have been, but not exactly. So it's like if you can look at a aerial photo shot of Wilderness Lodge, you have like the cabins kind of going to the east around the lagoon, and it's kind of below there a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think it's going to be cabins that they're building because it has a hard time filling those up as they are, but like a new tower or a new something, people are speculating. So I think regardless if it's this one, we will get a DVC announcement because the new Poly Tower is opening up at the end of this year. And then after that, there's nothing on the books. And DVC is a very profitable business unit that's outside of the parks, and they need something in the future to keep that business churning.
Yeah.
So whether it's a brand new resort or whether or not it's turning cash rooms into DVC rooms or expanding something, I think there's a good chance we'll get some kind of DVC announcement.
Yeah, I definitely think that's coming. I guess I'm on the fence of if it'll get announced at this event, at this panel, or some, just not around this parks panel.
Now, let me ask you this. If there's any more details about the Poly Tower that's going up, does that count as a DVC announcement?
No, I think our intention with this is something new.
Something new, something
Yeah.
unknown at
Yeah.
this point. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. And the last thing that we're kind of less confident about is a Tropical America's ride detail, right? So we all said that there's going to be this top level models and description of the area and some animals maybe and all this other stuff, but we don't expect them to talk about the ride systems that are going there. Like Encanto's a boat ride and Indy's going to look like this and whatever. But there's a good chance we might get like, and the carousel doesn't count either if they're building because we saw a carousel in there, right? We know what that is. But like in Encanto, like you go into detail about what the ride is. Encanto will be a boat journey through whatever, and you get details of the ride, that sort of thing. I don't think we'll get that level of detail. So that's. I think we might, but I don't think we will.
Yeah, I think the one I'm feeling the most confident about would be if they get into a little bit of the storyline and maybe a name for the Indiana Jones ride.
True. Yeah, that's better chance.
Because I think they'll want to make it clear that it's not just a clone of the one from California.
That's fair, but then again, I think I'd lump that in with an overview.
Yeah.
With it, right? Like if we get just a general theme and story of the Indy attraction, I think that's like an overview.
Okay.
Right. But if we get the details of the story and how it's going to operate, and if we get like what kind of ride the Encanto ride is it an Omnimove or is it
I think the Encanto one's the one I have the least confident that we'll get details.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think there is a more than long shot chance that happens. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they might just be totally ready to go and kind of give us all the details, and shovels are in the ground next week, and who knows.
So there's Tropical Americas is two different buckets. I don't have anything else that I'm really confident. Again, this is parks and experiences. There's going to be Adventures by Disney stuff, or at least an advertisement for it and everything else like that. So there's only so much space Walt Disney World has over the overall division that anything more can start kind of getting a little lopsided. Okay, things that are long shots to be announced, right? So this is a long list of rumors, and I there's a very, very, very small chance anything gets announced. The first one is the rumor for Moana in Adventureland. We've talked about that before. I think if it is the long shot does come true, I think it's just kind of like we'll see a picture of Magic Kingdom map, and then just like the text of Moana is like a 10-second teaser of Moana's comes to Adventureland or something like that, where we don't even have concept art, right? We just have like Moana and Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
I could even see them even less than that. Like they go through the Big Thunder Mountain, and then at the end they're just something like, and that's not the only area we're looking at Magic.
And you hear Moana in the background,
something like that. Yeah. And then they move on.
any reference, basically, the long shot is any reference of Moana in Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And as long as it's not like Beyond Big Thunder Mountain got like completely redone again, and now Moana's going on Beyond Big Thunder, that doesn't count, right?
No,
Assuming Beyond Big Thunder is something else and Moana is not Beyond Big Thunder.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about here. The next rumor that this should be the last thing on this on this list, but there was some talk about the Pride's Land in Animal Kingdom. I think that's a super duper long shot. I think that's less than 1% chance.
Yeah.
But there's still a chance. So there's been talk about that. I don't have anything else to say about it other than just some crazy like chatter that's out there on the internet about it. I think this has a better than long shot chance of happening, but still it's a long shot. Like, I mean, if we're grading on a curve, this is maybe the top level one. The next one is any kind of blue sky replacements for Animation Courtyard. I think there's a pretty good chance, very, very low, but pretty good chance if there's anything on this list is going to get announced, like this one is probably the most likely. Still long shot, but most likely long shot, I guess, if that makes sense. Because we've been chiming, Hollywood Studios still needs lots of capacity, especially if they're looking at all these Lightning Lane multipasses go quickly. They need more in that park. They want to get rid of all the dead ends, et cetera, et cetera. We've been talking about this for 4 years on the show. So anything that's being done in Animation Courtyard that's not like up talking about Mermaid.
No. This is like
a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So that's a long shot. The next one, again, this might be the second best long shot to happen. I don't know the verbiage I'm using. Is some kind of Animal Kingdom nighttime spectacular, right? I almost put this in the less confident section, but like I downgraded at the last minute. I'm like, this is too ridiculous to be any level of confidence. Is some kind of drone show, I would imagine, at Animal Kingdom. I think the one that's happening in Disney Springs is getting amazing reviews. People love it. You'll be able to see it next week, which I can't wait to hear your opinion since you were not excited about drones. So I'm really interested to see what your take is on it. I would love to see, because this is what I was mentioning before. Like, we need entertainment. It would be relatively quote unquote cheap to put a drone show in Animal Kingdom because they already own the drones and they already tested out the tech. So it's just programming at this point. So I think they can do it. The only thing is, where do you land the drones and all that other type of stuff?
Yeah.
But I think this again is a really good chance that this long shot is on there. Any comments on the Animal Kingdom stuff?
I think they'll have a new show there at some point, but I think it might be a little further down the line, more when the Dinoland or Tropical Americas is done, and they kind of want to almost like relaunch the park again as like a full day, and part of that is going to be a nighttime show and stuff like that. So I'm less confident that it'll be announced now. I think it might be more for the future.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I tend to agree, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. Is they want people to go to Animal Kingdom, especially with half the park basically closing down that whole section. They want to give a reason for people to get to Animal Kingdom. So this would be a relatively easy way to get people to go into the park and not just be like, well, dinosaurs down and everything else. Why even bother go to Animal Kingdom? At least this gives somebody a reason to go there and keep people going to that park. That's the only counter argument I have to that. I just don't know if that's equally viable. Put in that quickly, and that's something I'm going to do. So the next one is I kind of labeled, put two of these together. Any restaurants or resort state perks like Magical Express coming back, free magic bands, kind of that's typically these are not announced at D23. But Disney might really want to start perking people up to come back to the resort. So this might be an influence for it.
I was just trying to. I was kind of where you were too. Like, is Disney even warranted at that? But we know it in the past ones they did the whole thing where they played the song for Happily Ever After and announced that was coming back. Right? I could almost see a similar thing like that to kick it off and say Magical Express is coming back or something. Like if they wanted to like a low hanging fruit type win to get everybody excited, and kind of buzzing about something like that. I could see like a little announcement like that. But
I could see this as something like the equivalent of like a post-credit scene in like a Marvel movie, like and wait, there's more, and then just have like a picture of like Mickey driving a bus or something else like that and make a mention or whatever. And then a DisneyParks blog released like the day later to explain get free magic band and blah 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 and all this.
Because I mean that is, they want to motivate people to come next summer. Adding in those perks would definitely motivate people. So they
should hire us in marketing. We're geniuses. The next three are yours that you
had.
So
just real quick to go through, we've talked about the different levels of detail about Tropical Americas. I put on here that they'll give an opening time frame or timeline for the Tropical Americas, not like super detailed, but they'll say, fall of 2026 or something like that. I think it's more likely we don't get anything like that, but that's why I put it down here.
Yeah.
But like I said, maybe they're just 100% ready to go, and they're going to have shovels in the ground like next week, and then
Monday,
when I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of they're just fully ready to go. The next one is Inside Out in Epcot, or anywhere really, but specifically Epcot. That's kind of where the rumors
have been. Does this count as a meet and greet or like an attraction or entertainment thing?
I mean, I guess
I could see them announcing a meet and greet.
Yeah, I guess maybe more than a meet and greet, because that's kind of an easy thing. I was thinking something either probably Imagination Pavilion or Former Wonders of Life, like kind of something big, but just like we have to put this somewhere. And this movie made billions of dollars and
$1.5 billion.
Yeah, so it's that
I think
we need to get into the parks type thing.
I think that's a Destination D type of thing for next year.
Yeah.
I think if that's going to be anything, I think it's I don't think Inside Out caught them by surprise, but like the magnitude of it caught them by surprise. So I don't think there's any Imagineering behind this on the fly.
Yeah. And then the last one I put, and partly I only put it because I know they're having the meet and greets out at the expo, but that they're announced that Bluey is going to be coming to the parks.
I want to say that would be awesome if they could, but I think there's some licensing issues that they're being
Yeah.
stubborn about on that one. But we'll see. I think that's why you put it in the long shot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so the DBC engagement this week is everybody should give one confident guess, one not 50-50 kind of guess, and one long shot guess. So 3 things for everybody listening. DBC engagement all week, and then we'll see who gets what right. And try to be inventive with this one. I like long shots, right? And it's not going to be a 5th park. So no one say that. All right, Phil, we're going to rank some quick service locations now. And there's not too many, and I think we can do this in the next 15 minutes before the show ends.
We'll try to crank that out. Yeah, so
set us up.
Animal Kingdom quick service locations. As a reminder for people who maybe didn't hear the episodes where we covered this before, we're going to rank each item on 5 different categories. Each thing can get a score out of 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. We'll rate it on menu, the quality of the food, the value for what you get, the theming, and then the overall vibe of kind of the area and the experience of eating there and that sort of thing. And everything's listed in alphabetical order, so I'm not pre-ranking these or anything like that. The first one is Flame Tree Barbecue, which is located in Discovery Island, where you soak up saucy views as you smack your lips to assorted smokehouse meats and chicken dinners. So is this one that you've eaten at before, Jason, or?
I'm trying to think. I believe, and this is this is like my first trip. I believe we had I had a taste of somebody else's that picked it up. So I don't know if I'm the best judge of this. It always smells wonderful, but because my wife's a vegetarian, I very rarely get a chance to stop here when we go.
Yeah.
So and the menu's changed since I last been there anyway. So
so we
try.
We're kind of similar. We used to. This was kind of one of our go-tos, kind of before Pandora and stuff opened. But I think it's got, obviously it has the sampler platter that has ribs, chicken, and pulled pork. It has, you can get a whole half chicken or a smoked pulled pork sandwich. They have macaroni and cheese with pulled pork on top, but they do have a plant base, which I've heard they're actually pretty good. Impossible burnt ends.
And I love me some burnt ends. Maybe I should try that next time.
And obviously a lot of sides with cornbread and French fries and stuff like that. And then kids meals that have the regular stuff, but also like a big chicken drumstick or a pulled pork platter. So decent variety, but it is kind of all that barbecue themed.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you give the menu for this one?
I mean, it is just, it's got a good collection of different types of barbecue. So I think I have to give the menu a 4 on this one, in my opinion, because I think it's not like 2 items, but they have, this is going to value, but they have a variety of things that you could try here.
Mm-hmm.
And their alcohol menu is actually not too bad either.
Yep. I agree with that one. And then we have the quality of the food there.
I remember it being good, but I also see people online loving this place also on the quality. So I just from people talking, I don't know if it has for a quick service. I always see that this is better than Regal Eagle from just people enjoying this more. I don't know if they're ever comparing them type of thing.
I've heard both. Some people like one, some like the other, but yeah.
Okay.
I think it's for in a theme park barbecue, it's not bad. It's obviously not great compared to like a real barbecue joint, but I think it's pretty good, and like you can tell there's I kind of want to. I wish if we had 0.5s, I'd give it a 3.5.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I'm right there. I think with a lot of the other stuff that's on this menu, or on this list, I think a 3 might be too low.
Yeah,
so I think I'm going to push it to a 4.
Yeah, I agree. Value. So it's not the cheapest place, but you do get their large portions.
Yes.
So I mean, half a chicken with baked, 2 sides for $13.79 is not crazy. Even the platter where you get ribs, chicken, and pulled pork for $19. Like we've talked about this before.
Those prices.
Exactly. Like, we're comparing it to a lot of other places out there. For the amount of food you get, I think it's pretty good value.
I think a 4 again on this one for sure.
Theming, I don't think it's the best theming. It's kind of more just a stand that you go up to. It's kind of more of a walk up. It's just on Discovery Island. It's not really part of any of the lands. I mean, it's not unthemed. It definitely fits Animal Kingdom.
I think it's pretty looking, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think it's like themed specifically for a thing.
Exactly.
Because this is more of a vibe question than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's lower on theming, but maybe a little higher on vibe.
I mean, like I could go a 3 on theming because it also blends in with the surrounding area. So I don't know if it gets extra points for that. I don't know if you want to give it a 2. Just
I was
based on
thinking
that.
2 more for theming,
Sure.
compared to some of the other ones.
Okay.
But like I said, vibe, I would be more like a 3 or a 4 because of like the seating area and how it overlooks the lagoon, and you can see Expedition Everest and stuff like that.
That's why I'm hesitant on theming as a 2 because the vibe is a 4. If you could get a seat that's overlooking like over there, once you go in there, it's an awesome place to sit.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a 4 on that one, assuming it's like the quick service Mexican food in Epcot. Like if you can sit out there and not be like hounded for like a table, it's like an awesome
usually because there's a number of different levels to it. So if usually you can find a seat, it is one of those things though where it's not inside, so there's no AC, so you're just out in the elements, and usually a lot of birds.
That's true. That's true. All right, what's next?
Okay, next one is Harambe Market, which is located in Africa, and it just says savor African-inspired fare at an open-air plaza. Bringing up the menu now.
I haven't been to this place in forever.
Yeah, we used to. This was a place we went more often in the past as well, and I know they keep kind of updating the menu, so I'm not even sure if I've had a lot of.
I've had nothing
things
on this menu. No. But I've looked at the menu plenty of times, and I see, oh, there's no good plant-based solution that my wife would want to eat. So we skipped this in 2022, and we made sure that we went to another place in last year for a quick service. So I'm not bringing that up yet because we'll talk about that later. So for menu, he's just got some interesting things. Like I think the menu's got like. I can't speak to the quality of it, but like you've got the shrimp deals, you've got a lot of like beef and lamb, you got chicken bowls, you've got, impossible pitas and stuff like that. I mean, this is like different food that you can get. So like, again, I think I have to if I give Flame Tree a 4, I think I have to give this one a 4 as well.
So I was thinking a 3, just a hair down from Flame Tree, just because it's a little more limited. And I don't know if it would appeal to us. Like I could see a lot of kids like looking at this being like, I don't like anything on that menu or anything like that. So
that's true. The kids menu is like a shrimp rice bowl and a chicken rice bowl.
Yeah.
But then also you can get chicken strips too. I know. Okay. We'll go 3. We'll go 3 if you want to differentiate it between Flame Tree. I'm okay with that.
Quality. Again, I remember it was good when we went there before, and that it felt a little more, I don't know if authentic's the right word, but it just felt like real cooking and real food versus like just throwing things in a fryer or whatever.
I'm a 4 on this one.
Yeah.
I saw the food when I was last there and I got hungry, but we were going somewhere else.
And then prices. So like the chicken and shrimp bowl is $16. Chicken rice bowl is $13. They have different salads that are $12 or $15. Salad with shrimp is $14.79. So again, not bad compared to
that's
the
reasonable.
real world.
I mean, those are the prices you get at Panera for a lot of this stuff. So I mean, it's a 3 or 4 for me. I don't think it's super value because I don't know what the quantity
I think it's
is.
I would compared to Flame Tree, I'd probably give it a 3. I just don't know if portions are as big and stuff like that. Theming, it's definitely well themed as an African market. It is just an outside area with different stalls, and they added some more seating that looks,
I mean, I'm close to a 5 on this one because I really like it. I'll go 4.
Yeah, I was thinking 4.
But vibe, because I'm going to combine these two in one conversation. Vibe has to be a 5, in my opinion. Just because I love you kind of go through the arches. It's like out of the area, but it's like you're eating in a marketplace that's not like jam-packed with people either. Because it's every time I go there and walk through and look at the different menus, there's not that many people sitting around like, pushing you for seats.
I was actually going to ding it there because and this is maybe more of in the past, I know they opened up a new seating area, so maybe it's not an issue. But in the past, we have had issues finding seating.
Oh, okay. I've never had issues going in there, so maybe lucky me. But I just dig the vibe. I think Africa is one of the best places in the park. So for me, it's vibe. If vibe is a 5, if you want, what would you have gone with?
I would kind of 4, but.
See, I went down on value for you, so you have to come up for value.
Yeah, I put it in the show notes.
Okay,
so 5.
okay,
You're good. Okay. The next one is where is it?
Pizzafari.
Pizzafari died on me. The sheet. I gotta open another one. Sorry, Pizza
Uh-oh.
It's
Yeah, it's
the
gone.
next one. Yeah, I don't know. It's Stitch 8, the Pizzafari page,
Yep.
apparently.
So, I mean, this is a general like pizza, hamburgers, chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
There's nothing on here that's great. To me, the menu is probably a 2 at the most. And if you want to go 1, I'm not going to argue with you.
I'll give it a 2 just because I think it is a place that a lot of families will find something. But yeah, I'm definitely not going higher than a 2.
On quality, again, I think it stays the same. Because let me see if I can get. I'm trying to get the prices up from a different area, and it's not working for me. I got it. I got Pizzafari, lunch and dinner. So entrees like buffalo chicken pizza slice is $14. Gnocchi primavera is $13. Pepperoni pizza is $12, and these pizzas are awful. Yeah. To me, the quality is low from what I remember, because I had this 2 years ago. We were desperate for some food, and my kids and family were getting hangry, and this is the closest one, so this is where we ate, and it was just like, so qualities are 1 or 2 in my opinion.
Yep. No,
and the same thing with value.
Yeah, 1 and 1 I think is fine. Theming, I actually think this is a pretty well themed restaurant. There's a lot of little like Easter eggs and just detail in like the crown molding around the building and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's like a 5 or anything like that, but I think it's actually like you could tell they put some like money
it's
into
pretty
the space.
Inside. Yeah. I'm reminding myself what it looks like inside, because last time we were there, we ate outside. I mean, you can't go higher than a 3.
No, I could do a 3. I just wanted to.
Okay.
I'm not giving it like I think it's better than the quality and value and stuff like that. I think.
Yes. Fine. That's fair.
And the vibe, I think it's kind of one of those more cafeteria style kind of people running around crazy. Not a great.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2. It's nothing. Okay. Nothing good. You're putting a 1. That's good.
Restaurantosaurus, obviously located in Dinoland, USA for a little while longer. Delight in prehistoric paleontology student humor as you dine on Angus burgers, chicken nuggets, and more in a dino themed dorm. I guess it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Again, I think the menu is limited. It's just normal hamburgers and hot dogs, right? It's nothing crazy. So again, menu's I think it's gonna be a 2.
Yep.
I think, because there is not much of a selection.
Yep.
On that one. And for me, quality is probably just a step above, like
it's definitely better than
Terrace, whatever.
Yeah, and it's definitely better than Pizzafari.
Yeah, so maybe a 3 on quality. I would have to say, because I've heard good things.
We've eaten there. My son likes the food there, because that's one thing we'll find out on my trip is my younger 2 don't really like Satuli as much as we do. So I'm sure we'll eat somewhere else, and we often wind up at Restaurantosaurus for them, and the burgers are pretty good and stuff like that. So.
Yep, and I was just looking at the pricing, and I just lost it.
Yeah, so it's got like a foot-long hot dog with chili and cheese is $15. Third-pound Angus bacon cheeseburgers is $13, $12. It's all a little overpriced compared to like just a couple of dollars more, and you get a full barbecue platter at Flame Tree or something like that.
I mean, I think we're probably at a 2.
Yeah,
with that for me.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Theming, it is pretty well themed to the whole like Dino Institute concept and stuff like that.
I think
it's not.
I love the look of this place, right? Yeah. I love the outside. It looks like a cool place to chill. I like some of the rooms on the inside. I think they're really cool. I mean, it is cafeteria style, like dining, right? So there's a lot of room and everything else. I think it looks good on there. What did we give Pizzafari? We gave it a 3. Like, again, if I had to give it a half, I'd say it looks better than Pizzafari inside, but it's definitely not a 4 either.
Yeah, so I think it's a 3 as well.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
And then the vibe. I mean, maybe it's a little better than Pizzafari, maybe a 2.
It's a 2 or a 3, essentially. I like the look. I think whatever they redo this in is going to be an awesome vibe in there. But again, if this was a little bit more intimate inside rather than cafeteria, big giant cafeteria, I think the vibe would be a little bit higher. But it gets loud, it gets crowded in here.
Yeah, exactly. Next is Satuli Canteen, obviously located in Pandora, the world of Avatar. Indulge in the art and culture of the Na'vi while dining inside this former RDA mess hall.
I think this is best quick service on property. It is my all-time favorite. This is where we did not go in 2022 because we had a Tusker House reservation at like 3:30.
Oh, right.
And so I was like, we are going to Satuli Canteen no matter what our next trip, which was in December, and I thought it was actually awesome still. So menu for me, it's a 5.
Yeah, the only reason I'm hesitant to give it a 5 is just because it is a little limited, and I know like my kids don't always like it and stuff like that because it's really just the cheeseburger pods or various bowls that you kind of make. There's not a lot else after it, but I mean what they have on it is really good.
Yeah,
and it's unique and different and stuff like that. So,
or you want to ding it for not having a large collection on the menu? Then
kind
of.
Yeah.
I if you want, then that has to go down to a 4. Then I can't.
Oh yeah. No.
3.
That's I said the only reason I was hesitant for a full 5.
Gotcha.
Quality though, I think is a 5.
There's no hesitation on that one. Absolutely.
Value.
The bowls are, you get a lot. You get a good amount of protein in there. The noodles or the salad or whatever you get is a decent sized bowl. I'm always full when I eat through here. Like I didn't even have enough room to eat. Well, I did. I shoved them in my face, but the leftover cheeseburger pod for my 6-year-old at the time, I definitely ate that, and I shouldn't have. But like you get enough. So like value for me is a 5 because this is just as maybe $1 or $2 more than I would expect at like a Panera. That's how I compare everything to like Panera, right? And not like Burger King.
No, I mean a chili garlic shrimp bowl with all you want for $15.79. Like that's, like you said, it's the same price that Panera would be or whatever. And this is way better. And then even the kids meals usually are like decent portion. I know when I'm not like starving, I would just get like the kids cheeseburger steam pod and like
they're $9.
Like, it's $9. So it's like Yep.
Value, I think to me is a 5 because you get a lot and they don't skimp on the quality either.
Theming.
I mean, to me, I know it's a cafeteria-esque place, but it's awesome in there. And if you get certain tables, they do get a little private, a little bit. So I just dig the theming because the music kind of spills in from the outside sometimes too, and you get the tranquil, like you do get the vibe that you could be like in the world of Avatar a little bit too. So it
definitely fits.
5 on my side, and same with the vibe because I just love being in there. It's good food. You know, you just got off a flight of passage. You're having a great time. We're getting some lunch. Now, you could make an argument. You put down 5 already, but you could make it an argument that the vibe gets dropped down to a 4.
Yeah.
Only because there's just a lot of people there. And sometimes a lot of people drop the vibe down because you're
I'm kind of leaning that way too. I put it down to a 4. It can be hard to find I know sometimes they even have to have cast members like watching so that people don't just take tables before they get the food. Like it can be a little hectic and
it can get backed up at the soft drink thing where you're juggling a tray and you got to fill up 4 things of water or soda or whatever you're getting, and sometimes it's a pain in the butt. And then like if you're all done, sometimes you got to carry all your garbage back inside and all this other stuff because it is a big place. So not to say that detracts it too much, but it's not perfect either.
Okay, the next one is, and we only have 2 left. One is the Smiling Crocodile, which is located on Discovery Island as well. Chomp on crocolicious dishes, sure to tame ferocious appetite.
So remember, I think I've eaten here before.
This is another one where they change the menu quite often. I think they even just had a quick change. I think the street corn tacos, which are vegetarian, not vegan, are new. But yeah, they have barbacoa nachos, the street corn tacos, chicken street tacos, and then chip salsa and queso, and then a couple different alcoholic beverages and stuff like that. So a pretty limited menu, but a little different, not kind of just burgers and stuff.
I'm just trying to think where this is. This is right before you get over the bridge to Dinoland, right?
I think so, yeah.
You know what? I think the only thing I've gotten here are drinks.
Okay.
So I don't really have. The menu looks great. I mean, like I don't remember seeing tacos here. I know I was online to get the street corn the last time I was there, but I got pulled away because we had to go do something else. So I didn't get a chance to get it. But I did go here for this. I attempted to go there for the street corn.
Okay.
So the menu I think is small, but I think what's there is unique. I
Yeah.
think. I think the floor is a 3, the ceiling's a 4. But because
I think just
don't
a
know.
3, just because it's only a couple things.
Yep.
I wouldn't go higher than that. Quality, I think it's pretty good for a little stand and stuff like that.
I have
but
to
it's
go
nothing amazing.
on a 4 on quality only because people were raving about the street corn.
Yeah.
I've never eaten there, so I don't know. I'm going off of other people's opinion on
Yeah.
this. Enough that I almost went out of my way just to get corn at Animal Kingdom because I heard so many good things about it. So that's I'll put it at 4 with the asterisk.
Yep. And then value. So those tacos and the nachos, pretty much everything is $10 except for just the chips and salsa. So I don't know how you feel about value. I mean, you get a decent amount. I think.
How many tacos do you get? You get to
2.
one taco, two tacos?
tacos.
Just to kind of give you a reference, I had like the street corn taco. Let's say the
And then
chicken,
and then it's served on a side of chips and salsa.
right? So 2 roasted chicken tacos, house-made sauce, cheese, cabbage, pickled onions. I just went to a local taco joint I spent $8 on 3 tacos, but the tacos only had meat and cheese on them.
Yeah.
So just ground beef and I don't know, was it jack cheese or something else on them? 2 tacos, but they have much more delicious toppings and flavors to them. So I think that's on par with what I got locally, right? Because I'd rather have 2 delicious tacos than 3 like meat and cheese tacos.
Kind of skimpy ones, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the value's there. I think that you could argue for a 4. Again, it's like a 3 or a 4 in my opinion. This is not screaming value at me, and you're not getting too much. So you're putting a 4. I could go 3.
Okay. Looking at the other things we gave Harambe Market a 3. We did give Flame Tree Barbecue a 4. I think there's probably a little less value from because you're not getting full platters and stuff like
Plus
that.
Flame Tree's right across the way too.
Yeah. Theming, I mean, it's just a cart. Obviously, it's well themed because everything
it's a cart.
Yeah,
it's a cart. It's a pretty looking cart, but it's a cart.
And then the vibe. There's you use the Flame Tree seating area and stuff like that too. So there's not as much to it.
I mean, look, it's a 1, but like if there's a stage right there, and if somebody's playing some music, the vibe goes to 2, right? But like, how often are you going to catch some people at the same time? So 1 is good. 1 is good.
All right, and last one is the Yak and Yeti Local Food Cafe. So obviously the quick service part of Yak and Yeti. Hungry after your Himalayan trek, tempt your taste buds with a feast of Asian fare.
I've never eaten here.
I actually have.
There's so many other options. So I don't know how to rate this. I'm going to look at their menu though. Let's see. Let's just look and base it off. And this is all asterisk. These are breakfast bowl here. Look at that.
Yeah,
they have to go here for breakfast. The website has breakfast. Has a breakfast bowl, scrambled eggs, cheddar, breakfast potatoes, peppers, and onions. That sounds really good at $12. Egg white English muffin, sausage and egg English muffin, a breakfast bowl with bacon or sausage for $14. This menu looks awesome for breakfast. I'm not gonna lie. Entrees are like sweet and sour tempura shrimp. I mean, I think I remember looking here for stuff, and I was talking to my wife Cindy. I was like, "Well, do you have a veggie burger?" And she's like, "No, thank you on the veggie burger." So the rest of the stuff I didn't get, and that to me, not a lot of the kids wanted anything appetizing for the kids on here, so we kind of skipped it.
And the kids' meals, I have to say, it's just cheeseburger or chicken strips or whatever. It's nothing unique for the kids.
But just based on the breakfast, I would say the menu is gotta be I want to go 4 because I love me some breakfast foods, but I'll put a 3.
No, 4 is okay. I mean, I think the fact that it has breakfast, I think helps the menu, and then that the actual menu is pretty sizable, and there's a lot of different options. I mean, they're all kind of Asian themed and stuff like that.
I just wish that we had enough time to tell my hangry story again with my family for we're searching for breakfast foods, and it was just after 11 o'clock. I wish I knew this was there. We wouldn't have been running around. Quality, I can't speak to the quality. I know there's people that are fans of this place. So I want to say at least a 3, right? Just based off of if there's somebody out there that's trying to listen to our opinion about this place, and like we've never eaten there, but I've heard enough good things that you should not worry about the quality of the food there.
Yeah,
I should say, right? That should not prevent you from going.
And
so
then
value. Value is I'm looking at this. It's rather expensive. Everything's like $17 plus. Now I don't know what the portions are for this.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
the hard
speak to
part
that
because
thing.
like I'm seeing something, firecracker shrimp for $18. If that's a whole bunch of them, that's fine. But if it's like 3 shrimp, then it's bad. So maybe just give it a 3 since we don't know.
I would say a 2, only
Okay.
because the majority of the menu is over $16. It looks like. But if you get,
Yeah.
we could push that to a 3 if you get a lot. I just don't know.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
So
Theming.
I'm gonna just look at pictures here. The theming's pretty cool. I like the outside of it.
Yeah.
But again, it's not like it's a counter, right?
Yep. Yeah, just a walk-up place, but it is pretty well themed to the area.
So what are we gonna give us? 2 or
3.
3. I'll let you make the call on that.
I'll do
one.
a 3 since we were
Okay.
kind of on the fence on a couple others. And vibe, I don't know, it's probably a 2 or a 3.
The vibe is very low because this is in a very crowded area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people running through it. Now there's a lot of like seating like around the corner type of thing, but it's also by a bathroom. So you get a lot of bathroom traffic also. And usually that area is always in the shade, which is nice, but it always seems like it's damp over there for whatever reason. Like the sun never touches it, and it's kind of like
Yeah, it's probably the
darkish.
exit to Kali River Rapids, and then there's that big fountain, and everyone's always kind of wet and stuff like that. So yeah.
So I
Probably
think the
not a
vibe
great
is
vibe.
low.
Yeah.
No,
1
so
or 2.
I would say like a 1 or 2
Okay.
on that one.
All right.
Give it a 1. Very good. So we're now 10 minutes over the hour. So excellent job by us for making a way too long thing. So how did we rank these? Did you sum these up? I just saw you were messing with the thing. Were you
The
able
formula
to?
wasn't working, so
Awesome. So let's just got to go through some of the engagement from last week on this. Wheezy has his top 3 are Satuli, Flame Tree, and Harambe, which I think matches us.
Yep.
And I think actually in that order, actually. So I think we matched up on that one. TL Madden said he's only eaten at Satuli and Harambe. Since AK is the only skippable park, and I think he was making a joke there, but maybe he was serious. I don't know. But at least he picked up the 2 top ones, so we're in agreement there. Mama of 6 has Harambe at 4, and Yak and Yeti kind of went up. So she has Satuli, Flame Tree, and Yak and Yeti. So that's slightly different. Where's Yak and Yeti on our list here? Mr. Spreadsheet can't get it to work. Yak and Yeti is at 6, 8, 9, 13 compared to Satuli, which we have at
15,
23.
19, 23, yeah.
So she has that up above us. And then Doxy has Satuli, Flame Tree, and Smiling Crocodile. I guess something there. The street, maybe it was her that recommended the street corn last year. I don't remember. Ryan W has Satuli, Flame Tree, and Smiling Crocodile also. And Yulin has Satuli, Harambe, and Flame Tree. So you can see that there's a pattern here. So if you've never been to Animal Kingdom, you need to eat at Satuli, Harambe, or Flame Tree. Pick one of those 3, and I don't think you're going to go wrong. And I agree with that statement. I think that kind of bears out. The rest are depending on, I think, your taste and how fast you want to get something. Or whatever area of the park you're in, and you don't really care what you eat. You just need to have something. So if you have time, I would say definitely go to Satuli first.
All right, so I have the totals in there. Just Satuli is way out in front with a 23 out of 25. Then we had Harambe Market at a 19 and Flame Tree at an 18. So those are pretty close, tied for second and third. And then we had, I think, Yak and Yeti and Smiling Crocodile at 13 and 12. And Restaurantosaurus also at 12. And then Pizza Fire at 8. So it's kind of like, it's Satuli and then the next 2 and then a bit of a gap to everything.
Yep, and I'm just looking through this, and I think it looks like Pizza Fari is last on everybody's list. So that kind of matches what we were saying. So no real surprise on this one. I'm glad it kind of bore out to what everybody else was thinking on this one. So now that this DBC engagement is ended, I want to remind you, I want everybody to pick their confident, not so confident, and long shot predictions for D23 this weekend. I think we're going to get a couple guests on in the following weeks after D23 when the dust settles, and we're going to have some conversations with some people from the community and on Twitter. At least Drew, the Disney dude, said he would come on the show, so I don't know when he's available when he's back, because I think he's going to be out there for a little bit of extra week. I think he said like the 17th or 18th, so sometime in that general area later in the month. Anything I forgot, Phil, that we want to mention?
Nope, just I'll be gone for the next couple weeks.
We have to fit in your trip report when you get back.
I know. I was going to say we'll have then we have 7 weeks of my trip report after that.
We might have to do a recording of just your trip report or just your D23 like reactions, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be there for the reaction show. I'm going to try to do that with Matt next week. So maybe when you get back, we could do like a 30-minute bonus pod for your reactions and conversation, and then. Goodness, we're going to have guests, and then we're going to have your trip report, because your trip report's going to be a long one because you've got like a double vacation type of thing. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, we'll figure that out as we go along. And with that being said, we won't keep you for very much longer. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. See, I broke my promise and said I wouldn't mention that again, but I did. But thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.